Heroic Leadership, Leading with Integrity and Honor, written by William A. Cohen, Ph.D., narrated by Ken Maxon. To the members of the armed forces of every branch of service who have performed incredible feats of courage and leadership, and inspired and assisted me in learning how to beat swords into plowshares. Introduction. The concept of heroic leadership. In the spring of 2009, I attended the 50th reunion of my graduation from the United States Military Academy at West Point. I was seated next to my classmate Harry Walters. As a cadet, Harry Walters had been an outstanding athlete, a fullback in Army's undefeated 1958 season. At the end of the year, the team had ranked third in national standings, and another classmate, Pete Dawkins, had won the Heisman Trophy. Harry had gone on to serve honorably in the Army, become CEO of a corporation, and under President Reagan had served as Assistant Secretary of the Army and then Veterans Affairs Administrator. However, the school that had once fielded great football teams and produced outstanding athletes like Walters and Dawkins has done poorly in football for a number of years, even though its sister service academies, Navy and Air Force, have done pretty well during the same period. I asked Harry what he thought the problem was. Were we not getting the same quality of players as our sister academies? Were we expecting too much from them and meeting West Point standards in academics and leadership while looking for great things on the gridiron? Without hesitation, Harry answered, "There is no doubt at all about the problem. It is always the coach, not the players, and other issues which make success at football tougher for the players. When Red Blake coached, Army won. It is always the leader, and in football, that is the coach. When we once again start winning, it will be because of the coach." I instantly realized that Harry was 100% correct. Successful coaches practice heroic leadership. Heroic leadership is special. It requires leading a group with absolute integrity while raising individual performance to a personal best and building a team spirit of sacrifice for the common good. Heroic leadership requires tough standards. Meeting them may sound like an impossible dream, something rarely if ever achieved. However, it is not. Heroic leadership does exist, and it has left clues, descriptions, names, and dates, everything we need to emulate and duplicate such impossible successes in our own organizations. These successes are never more looked for than when we are in the grip of a severe recession, or when our organization is in trouble for any cause. It makes no difference whether your organization is a corporation, a nonprofit, a school, or an athletic team. Heroic leadership is crucial. Peter F. Drucker, the greatest management thinker of our time, knew heroic leadership and promoted it throughout his long career and in his 39 books and hundreds of articles. In his first book devoted specifically to management, Drucker wrote that the first systematic book on leadership, written more than 2,000 years earlier, was still the best. Its author, Xenophon, was a Greek general, and he wrote on leadership in battle. Years later, Drucker said, "The Army trains and develops more leaders than do all other institutions together, and with a lower casualty rate." A few years ago, Richard Cavanaugh, president and CEO of the Conference Board, wrote about a meeting he conducted at which both Drucker and legendary CEO Jack Welch were co-speakers. They were asked, "Who does the best job of developing leaders?" To quote Cavanaugh, "To my surprise, the usual suspects so often cited for finding and training leaders didn't figure. Not the Harvard Business School or Goldman Sachs or McKinsey & Company or General Electric or IBM or Procter & Gamble. The enthusiastic choice of both of these management legends was the United States military." Battle leadership. War is one of mankind's least commendable activities. The misery, death, and destruction that war causes are so horrendous that even professional soldiers publicly condemn it and seek to avoid it. Even just wars, wars that might be counted as having a positive outcome, are unbelievably costly. Ending slavery in the United States cost almost 1 million casualties at a time when the total U.S. population, North and South, was only a little over 31 million. Getting rid of the scourge of Nazism and fascism cost the world 56 million casualties. Despite these grim facts, war has been with us almost constantly. Within a span of over 7,000 years of recorded history,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?